The sun had barely risen over the cracked Arizona hills when Cole Brandt found her. The desert was quiet, too quiet, except for the low hum of wind scraping against the rocks. He'd been out riding the perimeter of his new land, a stretch of dust, cactus, and ghosts, when he spotted smoke curling up from the edge of the ravine. At first he thought it was another brush fire, but when he reached the hollow, he found the remains of a burned wagon, 2 bodies, and 1 girl still breathing. Her hands were bound, her ankle caught under a splintered wheel. She was Apache, skin bronzed by sun, eyes sharp even through the pain. She flinched as he approached, trying to pull away, but the wood held her fast. Cole crouched, his shadow falling over her face. "Easy," he said softly, his voice low and rough. "I ain't here to hurt you." She didn't believe him. He could see it in her eyes. But she was too weak to fight, her breathing shallow, her lips cracked. He cut the rope from her wrists and lifted the wheel from her ankle. She cried out, not from fear, but from pride, refusing to show weakness even as tears burned her eyes. He carried her to his horse, cradling her like something fragile, and rode back through the dust toward the ranch. The wind howled behind them like a warning. By the time they reached the barn, the girl had fainted. Cole laid her down on a bed of hay, fetched water, and cleaned her wounds. Hours passed before she stirred. When she finally opened her eyes, confusion flashed first, then defiance. "Where am I?" she whispered. "Safe," he said, though he wasn't sure it was true. She tried to sit up but winced, clutching her side. "Don't move," he warned. "You've lost blood." She glared at him, voice hoarse. "You should have left me there." Cole sighed, setting his hat down beside her. "Maybe," he said, "but I ain't built that way." The barn filled with silence. Outside, the horses shifted nervously, sensing the tension in the air. He poured her a cup of water and held it out, but she refused to take it. "Drink," he said again, firmer this time. She hesitated, then drank, her eyes never leaving his face. After a long moment, she whispered something he almost didn't catch, a phrase in Apache that sounded like a warning, or maybe a prayer. When he asked her what it meant, she turned away. "You'll see soon enough." As the sun dipped below the horizon, he brought her food, helped her sit up, but when he reached to lift her fully, she stopped him with a trembling hand. "Please don't carry me to bed," she said, voice thin but steady. "Instead, let me stand." He froze, unsure what she meant, watching her push herself up, legs shaking, will stronger than her body. She stood barely, but stood all the same. The lantern light caught her face, and for the first time he saw not fear, but fire. "I'm not broken," she whispered. Cole nodded slowly, respect flickering in his eyes. "Didn't say you were." Outside, the desert wind roared again, but inside that old wooden barn, something had shifted. 2 souls, from 2 worlds at war, stood in uneasy silence, neither knowing that by dawn their lives would be bound together in a way neither could undo. He didn't ask her name that night. He only knew one thing. Whatever she had run from, whatever had burned behind her was still coming. And the desert, cruel and endless, would soon decide whether mercy was strength or weakness. The night dragged on, heavy with the scent of rain that never came. Cole sat on the porch, lantern dim beside him, staring into the emptiness that stretched beyond his land. Inside the barn, the Apache girl slept, her breathing uneven, her arm bound tight. He couldn't stop hearing her words. "You just started something you can't stop." They echoed in his mind like a warning carved in stone. He had fought Apaches before, seen what happened when boundaries blurred. But this felt different. This wasn't a battle. It was a reckoning. Somewhere in that barn lay the truth of a land soaked in blood, and he was now part of it. The wind picked up, whistling through the old fence posts. Cole rose slowly, rubbing his tired eyes. He hadn't meant to care, but something about that girl, her defiance, her strength, her pain, clawed at him in ways he didn't understand. He went inside quietly, boots thudding against the wood floor. The lantern still flickered beside her bed of hay. She stirred, muttering in her native tongue, fever creeping through her veins. Cole crouched beside her, placing a damp cloth on her forehead. "You're burning up," he murmured. Her eyes fluttered open for a moment, glazed and unfocused. "They'll kill you," she whispered, voice barely audible. "If they find me here, they'll kill you too." Cole didn't flinch. "Let 'em try," he said quietly. But deep down he knew she was right. The nearest Apache camp wasn't more than a day's ride away. If they thought he'd captured or hurt one of their own, blood would spill before sunrise. He sighed, leaning back against the post. "What's your name?" he asked softly. She hesitated, blinking through the haze of fever. "Nayeli," she finally whispered. "It means I am loved." Cole nodded slowly, the name echoing in his mind. "Nayeli," he repeated, as if saying it made it real. She studied him with wary eyes, trying to read the man who had every reason to leave her behind. "Why do you stay?" she asked. Cole looked away. "Maybe because I've been running too long," he said. "Maybe because I'm tired of burying things." Outside, thunder rumbled far away. The desert smelled like a storm waiting to break. Cole tightened the blanket around her shoulders. She winced but didn't pull away. "Rest," he said. "You'll need it." He turned to leave, but her hand shot out, weak but insistent, gripping his wrist. "You talk like you've seen ghosts," she whispered. Cole froze, eyes fixed on her trembling fingers. "Maybe I have," he said, "and maybe they're not done with me yet." When he stepped out into the open air, lightning split the sky. Rain finally came, soft at first, then hard, drumming against the roof like drums of war. He looked toward the distant ridge, where faint fires burned, too steady to be lightning, too organized to be random. His stomach tightened. Riders! He knew it before he even saw them. A line of figures moved in the darkness, torches flickering like angry eyes. The Apache were coming. Cole ran back to the barn, grabbed his rifle and checked the chamber. Nayeli sat up, fear cutting through her fever. "They're here," she breathed. He nodded grimly. "Yeah, and they ain't coming for peace." For a moment, silence fell between them, the kind of silence that comes before a storm breaks. Cole moved to the doorway, steady and calm, eyes fixed on the horizon. He'd seen too many fights end in regret. He didn't want this one to end the same. "If they take me," Nayeli said quietly, "don't fight them." Cole turned, his voice low, certain. "Ain't in my nature to stand by." He chambered around, lifted his rifle and waited as the thunder rolled closer, not from the sky, but from the hooves pounding the desert floor. The firelight from the riders cast long, shifting shadows over the land. In that moment, Cole Brandt wasn't just a rancher anymore. He was a man caught between two worlds, one dying, one demanding to be heard. And as the first raindrops splashed against the barn door, he realized there was no going back. The girl he'd saved might just be the reason he lost everything, or the reason he finally found peace.